The tragic crash of the Farman F.63 Goliath, a story of early aviation on August 6, 1930. A tragic event shook the world of early aviation. A Farman F.63 Goliath, operated by the French airline Air Union, crashed near Paddockwood, a small town in Kent, England. This accident claimed the lives of 2 crew members, but miraculously, all the passengers survived. The story of this crash is not just about the tragedy itself, but also about the challenges of early aviation, the bravery of pilots, and the lessons learned that would shape the future of air travel. The Farman F.63 Goliath, a pioneering aircraft. To understand the significance of this event, we must first look at the Farman F.63 Goliath. This aircraft was a remarkable machine for its time. Designed and built by the French aviation company Farman Aviation Works, the Goliath was one of the first large passenger planes in the world. It was a twin-engine biplane, meaning it had 2 sets of wings and 2 engines, which was quite advanced. For the 1920s and 1930s, the Goliath was a massive aircraft compared to others of its era. It could carry up to 12 passengers, which was a significant number at a time when most planes could only carry a handful of people. The plane was designed for long-distance flights, making it a popular choice for airlines that wanted to offer comfortable and reliable air travel. Its spacious cabin, large windows, and relatively smooth flight made it a favorite among passengers. Air Union, the French airline operating the Goliath, was one of the leading airlines in Europe at the time. It connected major cities like Paris, London, and Brussels, making air travel more accessible to the public. The Goliath was a symbol of progress and modernity, representing the rapid advancements in aviation technology during the early 20th century. The flight and the weather conditions in the morning of August 6, 1930. The Farman F.63 Goliath took off on a routine flight. The exact route of the flight is not well documented, but it is believed to have been traveling from France to England, possibly carrying passengers and mail. The flight was expected to be smooth, but as the plane approached the English coast, the weather took a turn for the worse. The skies over Kent were dark and stormy. Heavy rain poured down and strong winds buffeted the aircraft. Flying in such conditions was extremely challenging, especially in the 1930s when aviation technology was still in its infancy. Pilots relied heavily on their skills and experience to navigate through bad weather, as instruments and navigation aids were rudimentary compared to today's standards. The crew of the Goliath, consisting of a pilot and a co-pilot, struggled to maintain control of the plane as it battled the storm. The strong winds made it difficult to keep the aircraft steady, and the heavy rain reduced visibility, making it hard to see the ground or any landmarks. Despite their best efforts, the pilots found themselves in a dire situation. The crash near Paddockwood as the plane flew over Kent. It became clear that the pilots were losing the battle against the weather. The storm was too powerful, and the Goliath was being tossed around like a leaf in the wind. The pilots tried to find a safe place to land, but the poor visibility and rough conditions made it nearly impossible. Near the town of Paddockwood, the situation became critical. The plane was flying low, and the pilots were desperately searching for a clearing or field where they could attempt an emergency landing. Unfortunately, they were unable to find a suitable spot. The Goliath crashed into the ground, its large frame crumpling under the impact. The crash site was a scene of devastation. The plane was heavily damaged, and debris was scattered across the area. The 2 crew members, who had fought bravely to save the plane and its passengers, lost their lives in the accident. Their sacrifice and dedication to their duty were a testament to the courage of early aviators. Miraculously, all the passengers on board survived the crash. They were shaken and injured, but none of their injuries were life-threatening. The survival of the passengers was nothing short of a miracle, considering the severity of the crash and the conditions in which it occurred. The aftermath of the crash of the Farman F.63 Goliath near Paddockwood was a significant event in the history of aviation. It highlighted the dangers of flying in bad weather and the limitations of aircraft technology at the time. The accident also raised important questions about aviation safety and the need for better training, equipment, and regulations. In the days following the crash, investigators worked to determine the cause of the accident. They concluded that the severe weather conditions were the primary factor. The storm had created conditions that were beyond the capabilities of the Goliath and its crew. While the pilots had done their best to navigate through the storm, the combination of strong winds, heavy rain, and poor visibility proved to be too much. The crash also had a profound impact on the families of the crew members who lost their lives. They were remembered as heroes who had given their lives in the line of duty. The passengers, too, were deeply affected by the experience. Many of them spoke of the bravery of the crew and the terrifying moments leading up to the crash. Lessons learned. And the future of aviation. The crash of the Farman F.63 Goliath was a tragic event, but it also served as an important lesson for the aviation industry. It underscored the need for better weather forecasting and communication systems to help pilots avoid dangerous conditions. It also highlighted the importance of improving aircraft design and safety features to make planes more resilient in bad weather. In the years following the crash, significant advancements were made in aviation technology. Planes became more robust and reliable, and new instruments were developed to help pilots navigate through poor weather conditions. Airlines also began to implement stricter safety protocols and training programs for their crews. The lessons learned from the Goliath crash and other accidents like it helped pave the way for the modern aviation industry. Today, air travel is one of the safest modes of transportation, thanks in part to the hard-earned knowledge gained from the early days of flight. The Farman F.63 Goliath may no longer be in service, but its legacy lives on. It was a pioneering aircraft that played a crucial role in the development of commercial aviation. The crash near Paddock Wood is a reminder of the risks and challenges faced by early aviators, as well as the progress that has been made since then. The story of the Goliath and its crew is one of courage, innovation, and resilience. It reminds us of the bravery of those who pushed the boundaries of what was possible and the sacrifices they made to make air travel a reality. As we look back on this event, we honor the memory of the crew members who lost their lives and celebrate the advancements that have made flying safer for everyone.